Hey folks, how you guys doing? Hope you are all having a great Tuesday as usual. The last video I put out on my main channel was on making these boxes. Well, I made 4 of them, but I only finished 2. This was curly maple and walnut. Turned out pretty nice, if I do say so myself. And then also a spalted maple box, which, you know, to be honest with you, I thought going into this that that curly maple is just gonna look just freaking awesome and I'm just gonna love it. But I actually like the spalted better. I don't know if it's just because there's more horizontal lines going on, and it just, that just looks so nice with the walnut horizontal accent on top. I like that. Turned out really good. Anyway, so the boxes, I did not complete the entire inside of the box. Well, I didn't do anything to any of them on the inside, simply because I ran out of time, and I want to experiment with a couple different things in the inside. Maybe a little bit more traditional, maybe not so much experimental. But anyway, I just lost track of time. You know, that's like the biggest downfall or the biggest crutch that I have with running my own business with this whole online thing is I completely underestimate how much time it's going to take on just about everything globally. I always say, it'll take a couple hours, and then it's like 6 hours later. I had the exact same thing with these boxes. Number one, I set out on last Wednesday to, I'll make a gift box for Christmas. Well, I get out here in the shop and I'm like, well, I'm gonna be cutting up some wood. I don't wanna waste too much of it, so I might as well just make a couple boxes. Well, if I'm going to be making a couple, I'm gonna do batch operations, and I might as well just make 4 of them. So then I set out to make 4 boxes, and then every single process, it seemed like that there was just little tedious details that you had to button up, like putting the tape on all of the inside parts of the panels. Well, you know, you've got a lot going on, so you got to tape off every single corner and all the edges so you don't have glue squeeze out on both of the inside corners as well as the top and bottom seams where those panels came in place. So at that point, you just tape off the entire inside. Well, then you got to get everything nice and neat against the miters and then against the rabbets on the top. And then you got to do that not only on one box, but you got to do it on all 4 boxes, plus add the tape on the outside to act as the clamps to hold it together. And it was, I don't want to come across as like I'm complaining. It was just, I totally underestimated how much time was involved with each process. So ended up getting later and later as I was working. And then, finally, Saturday night, I was like, you know what, there's just absolutely no way I'm gonna get these entire boxes, or get all these boxes entirely complete, so I'm gonna have to break it up into 2 videos, which is the video I published Sunday, which is making the boxes themselves, and then next week we'll be finishing out the inside, making some type of divider system, or trays, or both, or something. So yeah, it was Saturday when I made the decision to break it off into that. And even then, I still worked through the night. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning before I called it quits on Sunday morning. Got a couple hours sleep and then edited most of the day Sunday. So nobody's fault but my own, just totally underestimating how much time it would take. And that seems to be a recurring theme with just about everything that I do. So I've got to get better on that. Overall, pretty well received. These hinges, I really like these hinges. These are not a paid endorsement or anything. These are Brusso hinges, and they have the, what am I looking for? What's the word? I guess they have a stop built in, to where they just hold themselves up. There's no kickstand. You don't have to have a hinge or some type of mechanism in here to hold it open. I really like that because I think that the inside is just as beautiful as the outside of these boxes. With the wood that was used. So I can totally see like this, like a curly maple one, I can totally see this just sitting on like a table or something with the box lid open, and it just looks cool. I'm totally in love with the way that these look. So I'm happy about that. I just slapped down a couple thick coats of shellac just to get the finishing process started. I have a couple drips here and there, and luckily shellac is easy to blend and fix. I still want to build it up a little bit more, not with a brush, but with a rag with shellac on it. It's a lot easier to apply. But get the finish nice and even, and then wax it, and it's just going to look pretty cool. Someone in the comment section suggested like a high build of lacquer, and then polish that out. That's a great option. I don't want to mess with lacquer right now. Man, what did I use that was lacquer finish? A couple projects ago. Anyway, man, lacquer, I used some brushing lacquer here in the shop and it stunk horribly. I'm completely drawing a blank at what I used it on, but it stunk horribly, so much worse than I remember previously, and it made the whole house stink. So it's getting wintertime. Can't really open the garage to do finishing because it's wintertime in Mississippi means rain just about every day, it seems like. So I've got to maintain the use of finishes that are friendly to the shop environment and also my house environment. So not going to do lacquer. Good option as well though. I got a comment regarding the bandsaw. I've done a lot of resawing here lately with that bandsaw. The riser block is just a beautiful addition to that particular saw. The blade I'm using, a lot of questions on it as well. It's just a 1/2" resaw blade, Starrett brand, and I don't know the tooth pattern, but I think it's a 4 TPI blade. Anyway, it's doing a phenomenal job. I'm really impressed with it. Let's see. I wondered though, on your bandsaw, do the roller bearings on your upper guide block make much noise? Matthias Wandel tried bearings and went back to hardwood guide blocks for less noise. Do you have anything to say about that? Yeah, they're noisy as crap. They really are, but they get the job done. And when I'm at the bandsaw, I don't really worry too much about tool noise these days because no matter what, if the tools are loud, I'm wearing hearing protection. I used to not wear hearing protection when I first started woodworking, but it didn't take me long to realize that I was getting headaches due to the noise. So I'm really good about putting hearing protection on when I'm making cuts, even if it is just for a couple passes or something like that with a dust collector running. I always grab my hearing protection. That and of course safety glasses. But yes, the bearing guides on my bandsaw are ridiculously noisy. I wear hearing protection, so that's not a huge concern for me. Something I did notice when I was making these boxes on this project, I was on the exit side of my planer, and it was as I moved my head, there was this certain spot where I was a certain distance from my planer to where it was ridiculously noisy, even with the hearing protection on. So yeah, loud tools aren't a tremendous concern because I do wear hearing protection. I'm not going to switch these bearings out for a different guide system because, like I said, they are working. Now Matthias is building bandsaws, so it makes sense to go as you're building to make something fit that works best for the application rather than just accepting what's already there in this particularly purchased saw. Hope that made sense. So did you guys pick up on the last two videos being like completely opposite of one another? Both of the last two videos on my main channel were making boxes, but the first one, the chessboard box, was kind of set up towards entertainment value rather than information. It was no talking, synchronized to music, kind of tried to be a little bit more entertaining. Whereas in the last one, on these boxes that I'm currently working on right now, was no music and 100% talking, kind of set up a little bit more towards information. So I thought that was kind of fun to go apples to oranges, and back-to-back videos are completely opposites. Anyway, while I was in Michigan last, I met a guy named Eric Lancaster who sent me some images of his vise. Now, I've made several of these pipe clamp style twin screw vices, and they've all worked really, really well. Depending on how you implement them, though, you may have difficulty reaching the release side of the pipe clamps. In my setup here on this poke table, the assembly table, I don't have any problems reaching any of the releases, so it's not that big of a deal. However, if your situation kind of prohibits you from reaching one easily, the following information might be a little bit interesting to you. Eric Lancaster sent me these images. This is what he did on his, so hopefully you can study these and kind of pick out some information from them, or at least copy the design. Anyway, he says, I've already made many of your plans, but the one I use most is my pipe clamp vise. I used your design completely, but I wanted to open the clamps to get more than a few inches. The problem was reaching the second clamp in the back. So I made a plate to push both release tabs at the same time. And to put pressure on that plate, I cut a cam and mounted everything on 3 dowel rods. The dowel rods are in 3 additional dog holes on the top. On the cam, I mounted a hammer handle to easily pull the cam. But anyway, hopefully those images that he sent may be of information to others out there in similar situations, and if you can get some ideas out of that, that would be great. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys this week. You guys take care, have a productive week, and I will talk to you next time.